I didn't
The
hear the
silence.
question. What did you say? Sorry.
Your practice. How's it been going? The PCW results, who you've been playing against?
Well, I'm gonna start then, since no one wants to talk.
Thank you, brother.
I think we played 3 nights. We played against kaidus' new team, BK and Mainco, and we had, I'd say, decent results. We lost, I think, half of the map and won the other half. Yeah. So far, we only played two days per week. Now we'd like for weeking it up for the playoff, and we played 3 days this week. So it's pretty.
Yeah, so like in your team in particular, you guys hadn't played in 3 weeks since the end of the season. In those 3 weeks, had you played at all, or you say just 2 games a week?
Yeah, that's what we've done.
And has that been a benefit? Like, you know, sometimes when you play too much, you burn out a little bit. You take maybe a few days, a week off. You come back now, or do you have to get the rust off a bit?
I think we needed playtime because that's what was lacking. We don't play a lot compared to other season, and since we're a team that play around the M, we really need to have more playtime. So that's what we did, and I think we're getting better. So I think we're ready for Sunday.
Zappis, how you feeling right now?
We practiced like more than average. We had like 4 games this week, or 4 days. And we had like above average results. Like we beat both like Ubersexuals and LBC. And we lost to both of them. 1 map, I guess, or 2 maps. I'm not sure. We played too much. But like practice has been going well. Feeling pretty good. Gonna win.
Gonna win. I like
Sure.
it.
Of course.
The first I've heard. We had P on the interview with Sideshow. Are you feeling the same way? Or are you gonna totally contradict your teammate and say that you're gonna lose?
No. It's an easy win, really. No formidable players at all in the scene anymore.
You guys weren't so, you know, aggressive in the interview compared to, say, what we heard from Ubersexuals just out today. Ips, Sam, and that War guy, man, really, you know, hitting some body blows there. How has that affected your confidence, P? Once you've heard that War thinks you're absolute trash, you know?
Well, Sideshows told us to be professional and still be a bit funny. And then he got War, Ips, and Sam in there at the same time, and they had their own little circus. So we kind of toned it down, which I guess especially War didn't. But it's all fun and games, and you know, you accept and you expect the banter, really.
I mean, they're already 1 up in terms of interviews. Like, it's not looking good for the playoffs, man. They're beating you in the mind games. They're favourites for the tournament. Do you think you can really beat Ubersexuals?
They haven't even been able to get more than 1 player into this fully charged, so I don't see how they can even get 6 players to the playoffs.
Well,
Yeah,
let's see
you're
over
stacking.
quantity, bro.
Wow.
Wow.
Like Nathan would say.
Sam, then, tell us, how's the preparation for Ubersexuals been going this week? Who have you been playing against? Is there anyone you've even, you know, broken a sweat against? Or are you guys just gonna assert your dominance? What's happening?
Well, we had a really horrible match day or gaming day on Monday. I think we lost like every map pretty much. After that, we had like a little wake up talk, and it went way better yesterday. And we played pretty much the same teams as everybody in here, like LBC, BK, kaidus team, because I think that's like the only teams that are playing at the moment, anyways.
kaidus, I gotta ask you, man. You know, I told you not to tell me that the roster, whatever, before we went on air. I want to be genuinely surprised, but you have a new team in the works. You're saying it's sort of really starting to come together now. You want to lift the curtain for the viewers here? Tell us about the new team.
Yeah, I think most people probably already know because they watch the streams and stuff. But we made it kind of official today. It's going to be me and Zub and Captain. With Captain on Pocket and Zubrome and Happy Cool and Walters on Scout, and that's all locked in. We've been playing with Raymond on Medic, but he's keeping his options open. He has his eye on the new infamous T team. So we're waiting on that one. But the rest is all perm now. Like I kind of been like really careful to make sure people don't go like, I don't know. I don't like it when if you start playing with people and then people say they're on your team because obviously no one said they were going to play. We just agreed to play some games, but today we like made a roster and all that. You know, the exciting stuff that you do when you make a team.
What's been the impetus? You know, is it the season 20 hype? You know, this mysterious entity that ETFTL keep talking about and I keep hyping up. Obviously, is that what's encouraged you? Or are you just bored sitting there doing nothing for a season, thinking I can do better than these guys?
Well, I don't know. Like I wanted to play this season, but like I couldn't. It wasn't that I couldn't, but I thought I'd take a season out and kind of see if my injury would get a little bit better. But it didn't really help. So I just figured, what's the point? And I just decided I'd play next season and just take it easy, like not play too much.
People are asking in chat actually about this T team, the team you referred to. You want to clarify?
I just after we played today, I'm like, yo, I fucking hate trialing people. So do you all want to join or what? And everyone was like, yeah, down to play. Apart from Raymond, was like, actually, I'm gonna trial for T's team first. And I was like, okay,
T the Highlander soldier or
T the
female medic,
the female streamer medic.
Right.
I think maybe he's just not sure if he wants to play medic or not. I think it's more about that than anything else. He's kind of considering. I think he might be playing scout for them if he plays with them. So I think he's not sure if he wants to play medic or if he wants to like have fun on scout or something like this. But
interesting. But that team wouldn't be a prem team though.
I don't think so.
As far as I got
CX,
medic
not
on
as far as I
prem
know.
as well.
CX, you were telling me you are potentially involved in a new team as well. Or
Right,
an old new team.
Like, I think they talked about it in the interviews after the Div 1 final, but HK's medic is making an all-Polish team, I believe, with your former soldiers. The Call Clan former soldiers, so I asked them to trial. So we're going to do that at some point. But I have no idea where my trial is going to win to the playoff game. I don't know if Pablo's still going to play in that game or not. I've not really talked to him about it since we've not even trialed yet, and I have no idea when the game is. I don't know if they'd rather play with him still for the last game, or what really.
Yeah, so to clarify for the stream, there's going to be this relegation playoff between Cool Clan and HKN, you know, the second worst team in Prem. Well, worst after Verbo Bandits World and the second best team in Div 1, as they always do. But we couldn't get it scheduled this week, so the admins, Sonny Black, kindly gave us an extension. So that's going to be the real end of the season. Forget this playoff nonsense with these top 3 Prem teams. We're going to be playing sometime next week. And it could be me versus CX. How awesome would that be? I'm going to choke so hard, buddy. But
No, if I choke first.
It seems like HKN have been continuing to practice like they really want it. Whereas Cool Clan are just planning to show up and play on the day. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, obviously, our focus is the Prem playoffs. Just to run through the details, anyone that's been living under a rock and missed our sort of storm of publicity, it's going to be the top 3 teams, slightly changed format this season. It's BK number 3 against number 2 LBC, and the winner of that will play Uber Sexuals, and it's all going to happen on one night. It's only going to take about 5 hours total, 2 best of 3s. And I suppose we'll interject this with some feedback from you guys, but any thoughts on the new playoff system? I know we haven't actually through yet, but what are the pros and cons? Are you happy with the admin decision overall? Anyone got an opinion?
I like that it's on one day because it kind of helps everyone scheduling it, and you don't have to keep several days open just for TF2. What I don't like is that I don't really see an advantage finishing first in the season. Because if you actually finish like second or third, you get a better warm-up game for a final or a potential final, in my opinion. And the only advantage you really get if you actually finish first place is that you get to pick the decider map, like the third map. Everything else is like equal, so can't really figure out what's important or like what the point is of actually cleaning it up during the season to finish first.
Yeah, just to jump on that, actually, I didn't understand why they decided to change from losers pick to elimination. Because before it was like picks, which is obviously very powerful. You can pick somebody's worst map before they've eliminated it. But now they've sort of mixed it up a bit. And also, like, if you only get to pick the decider, like if you lose the first 2 maps as the upper seed, like you got no real benefit from it. I'm unsure about that, but I'm not sure if it's written in stone or not, but that just It stuck out to me because I'd written it as losers picks, and then Sonny Black corrected me and said they've changed it to elimination. But it is a weird one. And like put an article up there, and I was sort of thinking through. But really, like, what are Uber Sexos going to do on the day? Are you going to watch the first game and try and take something from that? Are you guys going to play a PCW before instead?
We're just gonna play a PCW at 8 and then go into the final, do the bans and picks, and play them.
Do you guys know already what maps you want to play? Is it like
not at all, to be honest?
Are you going to pick maps that you want to play, or maps that you think would be your best map against that opponent, or like their worst map maybe?
Probably maps we enjoy playing the most, because that's also the maps we feel the most comfortable on and usually have like good results on them, so we're gonna go for those. As I said, like, we can't really watch the semi-finals before that, so we can't really see if they're like really bad on Granary, for example, on that day or something. So yeah,
that's what your manager's for, isn't it?
so
Human recon.
Sunny back insight.
Like, I asked Sonny, what was it, like, I told him to like watch the streams, what maps the other teams are playing, and after like 4 hours he came back and told me. Once
That's Sonny Black now with the information.
and he told me BK's worst map is like Viaduct or something, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Is it though? Not is it though?
They lost Badlands right at the end of the season. Anyone remember that? No?
Maybe it's Badlands. Maybe you should pick Badlands.
That would be definitely the most exciting. Just going through a few more of the details then of what we've confirmed so far. We're going to have those 3 teams playing off against each other. There's €1,000 at stake, lots of esports hardware, but on top of that, TT Sports also going to do some giveaways for us. Camfo confirmed an email earlier this week that there will be a Ventus gaming mouse and 2 of those metal caps packs as well. So there's going to be giveaways. I'm talking to Veethoofd as well from TF2 Pickup. He wants to give away loads of TF2 items as well. That's yet to be finalized. So more and more reasons why you should tune in. The casting lineup is confirmed as well. It's going to be Sideshow, CommanderX, kaidus, and Suo on the stream. So it's going to be a tri-cast going on there. kaidus sort of as the backseat analyst guy. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what I prefer to do on cast. I always feel a bit bad when I cast because I try to leave the play-by-play to someone who's capable of speaking fast enough. Even though you always throw me under a bus and just yell at me to do a middle, and then I just I'm screwed. But no, because like Sideshow was actually saying, like, Sideshow was trying to bail. He was telling me he thought me and CX should do it, and I was like, because he apparently one of the casts we did was good, but that would mean basically CX talking for potentially 6 maps straight with me throwing in the occasional word.
Fucking 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock on my
yeah, that's what I said.
night.
I was like, if anyone's gonna drop out, like if anyone's gonna drop out and do it as a duo, then I'll drop out. But yeah, I quite like being like the third guy and just chipping in when like I don't know. It's just easier. You sit back and you watch and you can see stuff that the others are missing because they have to constantly be talking and not able to just look around the map and see what they might be missing out on. I just hope they remember to bring it in.
Like, why has he got the fear? Like, I've been running a spreadsheet and like he's cast the lion's share of the games this season. He's doing a great job organizing things and everything. And then it's like when it comes to the big events, is he really scared? I'm putting him up there for caster of the season, man. You know, he's going to take the crown. But that's the first I've heard that he wanted to roll over for the playoffs.
I think he's just nervous that the 3-man cast will be a mess, but I don't think he really appreciates just how happy I am to sit there and just speak like 3 times a map. Like I'll maybe like go on a rant for 2 minutes at one point, but other than that, I'll only have like 2 or 3. You know, I'll interject and they'll bring me in here and there. But I don't know. I think he remembers some of the horrific like 3-man cast that happened in the past, but those always seem to be like, you know, someone like Comedian was the third caster who just chimed in and out and in and out. But I'm like quite content to sit there and just speak when there's important stuff to say.
It always worked in America as well. Like whenever the ESEA LAN came around, we'd always have like Bloodsire and Seabear and DJC and Sigma just all sitting in a mumble, and they'd all just kind of jump in and out and bounce off each other, and it worked fine then.
Yeah.
As long as you haven't got like 3 comedians.
Yeah, you're the EU Sigma. I like that. He was the mad professor of TF2. That's the role you need to fill, man. I want you to take off that hat. I hope you got like a sick perm under there or something, you know. Einstein here. On top of that, then the confirmation of our cast. There's a few more things to be ironed out with regards to that, but we'll try and bring you the very best of TFTV. There was a sick trailer as well coming out there from Beater. Sam complained there wasn't enough scout action in there. Hair P, were you mad as well? That was just you getting air shot.
That was a bit perked. Like, it's a good promo, but it's kind of a shame just to see yourself get killed instead of seeing, like, kind of winning
Whose
a
fault's that,
1v2
buddy?
versus the same team or some stuff like that.
Maybe you should have made some more memorable frags.
Maybe I did, but he didn't care.
You think Beater's just sort of got a hard on for soldiers? He's only got eyes for rocket launchers?
I think that might actually be the case. But air shots are like the best hype. Like, you don't get the same hype from scout frags.
I think scout frags are only that good, like, in context. Like, if it's a really clutch moment in, like, the context of an actual 30-minute game. But just, like, taking them by themselves, they're just, like, clicking on things.
Point and click adventure. Not so exciting to watch there. Yeah, I hear that. I could maybe agree, but, you know, I like seeing air shots too at the same time. There was commentary clips as well featured from all our cast. I haven't seen these guys cast, and you got to listen for that kaidus laugh. So you're in there for hear this guy squawk. Oh my god.
Wait, I've not seen this. Someone hook me up with a link.
So it's on the article. I'll put it in the Twitch.
TFTV. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's embedded in there. Then, of course, Sideshow has taken up the reins here, and he's come up with these video interviews as well. Well, they're audio, but with some lovely TF2 background video there as well. And he interviewed smzi and Hair P. That was released when the article went out the other day. And then today we also published the Uber Sexes one I mentioned earlier with Ips, Sam, and Warher. Yeah, sort of contrast there between the two styles of interview. But Uber Sexual is really trying to stick it to their opponents and, you know, psych them out a little bit. It's sort of awkward to hear War trying to get all, but he managed to make it work, and it was pretty amusing at the end. But any thoughts on the interview so far? Anything you'd like to comment on? Anything that stuck out in your mind there? I'm looking to the players here, obviously, that are playing in the playoff. Do you have a response for anything you heard in any of these interviews? Zappis, do you think you're terrible?
Well, there wasn't any like, smack talk against me, at least, so I don't know.
Oh, there was no named call-outs, right?
Name
It's just
calling?
like everybody on the other teams are all terrible. They're all garbage. It's hard to take offense to that, I suppose.
It was more War acting as a clown than
Yeah,
real shield talk.
that wasn't real banter. That was
Yeah.
awful banter. Yeah.
That's why I didn't really care.
Yeah.
If he came up to you at LAN and, you know, he was like, "Mate, you're fucking garbage," would you still laugh? What's it gonna take? Like, is he gonna have to like fuck all your mothers or something before you take this man seriously? When will you listen to Ward's banter and believe that he's actually a badass?
When he stops posting videos of him with his kitten.
With his kitten.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I'm trying and failing here to, you know, incite any sort of emotion from you guys, but despite Uber Sexual's hardest efforts to start some drama, nobody seems to give a fuck, which is awesome. But Hair P, I did totally interrupt you there. What was on your mind, buddy?
No. It was just Ips said that War was there, so he wouldn't seem like the biggest shit talker. And I would still like to claim that Ips is a pretty good shit talker. But it's all in good fun.
When Ips says it, like, he 100% believes that whenever War is doing it, you know, people assume it's a little bit of an act, but maybe, I don't know how to read it, to be honest. There's a Bulle interview coming up as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I think War tried a bit too hard, so it just turned a little bit too sad, more than like trash talking.
Cringy.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah, that's about it.
He didn't come up for the fully charged tonight, so, you know, we have to bash him relentlessly. Bull, your interview was up on YouTube as well last, or on the back end anyway, but for some reason the first 40 seconds were mute, so we decided not to publish it yet. But you want to give us a sneak preview of any, is there any dramatic reveals in there? Any tactics given away? Any map picks?
I don't think there was anything special in this interview, like it was a classic interview. I don't even remember what I said to Sideshow yesterday. Just maybe we talk about what's gonna happen after the end of the season, and that Probably LPC won't continue after this season.
What?
At least for me.
Season 20 hype. Come on, man.
Well, like we had so much trouble getting a team for this season. Like we registered, I think, at the last minute, and we didn't even practice all that. Like it was quite hard to get like a full roster for this season. I really doubt anyone in the team have like the motivation all the time to play.
Who is it? Who's the guy that's saying, I can't play next season? Or is it everyone?
I'm pretty sure for Tech and Flippy that's their last season. For me as well. Flip like already left Insomniac last season because he was fed up with the game. So we kinda drag him out of his like sleep.
I thought it was Stark's fault. I thought Stark drove Flip out of Insomniac.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, Stark. Yeah.
that's about it. I'm not sure about Exxon and Exxon and T-Mac might still be around. I'm not sure about that, but for the others, I think it's. Yeah, they all say it's the end. They all come back one day on.
They say that every season.
Yeah, I know, but that's what they said. So I don't know.
T-Mac
we're gonna
really
get
keen at the start. Like I remember T-Mac was just like seemed really keen to play this season. I can't believe that he's gonna just quit after this one.
I don't know,
He's been
will
like the leader as well this time, hasn't he?
I don't know about like most of Frenches have trouble like gluing with a European team most of the time. So like they shine brighter when they play in an old French team.
I was about to say, was the last time T-Mac played in a non-French team? Was it?
I think it was
Crackland?
Crackland.
Yeah.
It was the only time as well.
Was it the only time?
There's other French players out there though. He could shaft like Degon or someone for me, Shark.
Bull out, Ramagan, is that what you're saying? Bull out, Ramagan in? Is that, the next in line for the French medic crown?
Probably gonna be easy since he played Prem this season. So there's a lot of fresh blood, so I'm not scared.
Any danger of
like
some sort of cannibalism going on here, like eShock eats LBC and some new French super team comes out of that? How do you guys feel about eShock? Are you on good terms?
Yeah, there's no, we're quite in a good relation with them. Like we have no problem with them. They're cool guys.
Even Droso.
Yeah, Droso is something else. We don't talk about Droso. But yeah, like what you said could happen. They could maybe take T-Mac in and form, because I think eShock's is gonna stay together for next season. So they might do something if some people wants to leave, or I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't talk to them.
Tell me this then, Bull. Like you're saying there that you guys are already fairly certain that you're gonna fold next season, or it'll be a very team. How does that affect your mindset for the playoffs? Do you want to win because this is like your last time to assert your legacy, or is it like it doesn't really matter? You're not going to be there next season.
No, like I'm pretty sure everyone in the team are really hyped for Sunday, and they all want to win. Like we don't think about next season at the moment. We think about the playoffs. Personally, the reason I wanted to play this season because I wanted to stop after I-52, but I couldn't because that I-52 LAN was such a nightmare that I wanted to like finish on a good note. And
you want to redeem yourself?
Yeah, because I'm still sour about I-52.
Redeem yourself. You should make a team with Hui, and try and repair that bridge.
Please. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm playing this season. I just want to. Yeah, I really hope to win Premiership this season.
Like we're on to a good thread of the topic here. Obviously, we're getting beyond the playoffs, but what does the next season hold? Ubersexuals, you guys have said all along, we're building a team for LAN, so we're expecting you to stay more or less the same over the course of the year. Will you be there for season 20, Sam?
At the moment, it looks like it, yeah. No roster changes whatsoever.
Okay, I can believe that. Then gotta ask Zappis and Herr P. You guys have already mixed up your roster a little bit, changing classes. Can we expect to see that happen next season after the playoffs? Is it all dependent on what happens on Sunday?
It might. Like most of us will probably continue playing season 20. And most probably it will be the same lineup with the same classes. But
It's not
like,
like we're better on our other classes.
CommanderX sort of hinted at it, or like maybe not. It's maybe not something the team have discussed, but in his mind, whenever Sideshow and Herpy and Zappis or Zebasai are talking about an interview about the switch up, how you guys change classes and back again, Zebasai was like, oh, maybe it could work given more time, you know, like him playing Pocket. So maybe it's still on his mind, and you know, if Zebasai has something on his mind, it could come to fruition later. Does that worry you at all, or are you going to defend your roamer spot, Zappis?
no, not really.
Would you do whatever the team wants? What do you prefer right now, scout or roamer?
I just like to play with these guys. Like it doesn't really matter what I play.
You're Zebasai's bitch, is that what you're telling me?
Not
no.
really.
That's
I enjoy
my spot,
playing both
please.
of their roles, like scout, roamer. Like we haven't really talked about it, but it's a one like option that we can look into more. That Sebo goes to Pocket.
Try and explain to me then, like from your internal team perspective, what was it particularly? Like, what were the things you were tripping up over that made you think in the first place, oh shit, let's change it up so we can make sure to get into the playoffs? What was the sort of symptoms or whatever that you saw happen and you were like, we've got to stop doing this, maybe we should play this way?
I think it was mostly our like Ubers. They were quite bad. Like it's hard for me to say because I play so far away from the Ubers, and maybe
I mean, you're
can
so
say
close to
something
the
about
Ubers, you're always like watching them from the spawn queue. You're practically there.
No, I'm just like doing some random shit on some flank. Just I don't know. I have no idea. It's my first season as a roamer, so I just like do stuff all the time. But like I don't know if P has something to say, but like it was mostly about like our main unit's calls and when to go in, when to go out, when the Uber was good, when it was bad, stuff like that. Like Seppo has so much more insight on that situation compared to AMS, so he thought like that it would improve our game in a fast succession, but it didn't work out. Obviously.
Yeah, it's just it kind of boiled down to our main unit not being as mobile as it should have been to kind of go and connect with the zappis and Sebusai. So instead of trying to turn it around so we would have a stronger lead in the main unit, we turned it around so that we would have like just more forced speed upon us by not having the Pocket close and having him around too, and just having me closer to Knudsen and leading him around. And me and Rib are kind of making a bit more calls than we did earlier, which I guess helps too.
What's that sort of go ahead, sorry.
I was going to ask when you tried it. Like I remember kind of tuning into the cast where you played Cool Clan and saw it like this, but like how much did you try it before that? Like was it just that night or?
No, that was like
2 days or something.
Yeah, it was a week before at least, and
like,
it felt
what
good
were the other
before
results
Cool
like?
Clan at least.
Did you win like the other PCWs? Did you play anyone good and have more promising results, or did you literally just?
Kaidus, this was weeks ago.
I
don't know. I think it was like above average. Like it.
But I mean,
worked
you felt good.
In some level, it worked out because.
But were you feeling good before the Cool Clan game? That was like what I wanted to know. Or was it like was Cool Clan just a nail in the coffin on that idea, or was it like a huge 180? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'd say like we felt good. It's to bring out the shit talk again. It's hard not to feel good about before going up against Cool Clan. Hello, ads. But otherwise, like I think we a bit like underestimated like what weaknesses we will get from it, and those were exploited. Like our Viaduct game was hurt, and then our Banners game was just I don't even know what happened there. So it felt good before, and then we just had it in an official situation, and it just didn't work anymore.
Okay.
I don't really know what to say. Like, yeah, it was just a short tryout, and it didn't work out. Like, I don't really have much to say about it. It just didn't felt right, so we didn't do it.
But given more time, you don't care. You're telling me you don't mind play roamer or scout.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like I haven't been playing scout. Like I didn't do that well as a scout. Like maybe I could have potential to become better as well, but I don't know. It was just a fluke. I don't know why we did that. It was kind of stupid.
It's refreshing though playing roamer. Do you think that's giving you a different perspective on the game? You know, do you think playing Rumor could make you a better scout now?
Yeah, obviously, because it gives me like more insight to the game. Like it helps up my
I wanted
scouting for sure.
to ask as well, whenever you guys were talking there, I was asking you about the problems, and you were saying it was sort of a communication thing, that the combo was a bit like too slow. Is that not sort of like a two-way street though? You've got Zebasai who plays the game at like 1,000,000 miles per hour, doing his own thing. He's always behind. He's always trying to make the plays on his own, and you're playing very direct with your Roman style, you know, trying to get in and make that distraction, whatever. But is it maybe a case that you guys need to slow down a little bit as well as the combo speeding up? Is it like you have to meet in the middle somewhere rather than it's just AMS and Nutzen are too slow or too passive?
Yeah, I think they were too passive, and like in a way we've become more faster than before with our main unit. I think at least.
I think a bit of it being faster is just that Cebu toned down his aggression a bit, which meant that we would have him alive more. It means that we can connect easier now that we're faster with the main unit. And we're doing a lot more like him playing close to Knudsen on mids and stuff like that, which also helps out. So it just kind of from making it a bit slower, we got faster, if that makes any sense.
How do you guys feel personally about the way Zebasai plays? Like a lot of people have said that, yeah, that's going to catch you off guard maybe at the start of the season, but whenever you sort of realize, hey, we can just sort of turn around and kill Zebasai and get a pick a lot of the times, even though that's not always as easy as it sounds. Do you think that Zebasai needs to rein it in a bit? Like you mentioned in the interview here, P, that he might try and play a bit passive. Can he do that though? Is he just like, is it too much in his head that he's Zebasai, he's the fucking man, he's going to go and try and take everyone in a one-on-one?
He'll still take every one-on-one, it's just that he does it from a smarter position. Like he's still a fucking beast. And people that kind of goes like, yeah, he's a one-trick pony, they're kind of getting fucked over because he's a really fucking strong one-trick pony then.
Sevo's play isn't that one-dimensional like what people think. Like he doesn't just rush in. He's a really smart guy, and he like takes his chances on a really smart positions, and he takes the 1v1s, like he wins them like in a good percentage. So I don't know. It's not just blind rush.
No, I'm not saying that, but it's like the very essence of it is that he's going in and he's making a play, and whether he is successful or not determines what you guys can do. Like if he fails, then you're a man down. He's your playmaker or caller. Like every time he's dead, I don't know who steps up or who's gonna, you know, take control there. Like it's not just that he's dead and you're a man down. It's like there's a little bit of a discontent, maybe a mumble. I don't know what exactly happens. Well, is it healthy? Like,
yeah, it's nothing. It's just usual, just business. When Seppo goes in and dies, it's just how our team plays, and he calls when he's dead. So what does it matter?
I think it's worth to mention that like Zebo doesn't just do this when he's on scout. Like when he's playing another class and is either calling or taking some kind of leadership role in the team, he wants the scout on his team, like the scout that's like designated as the aggro scout. He wants the scout on his team to play like this. Like it's not just like, because I've joked before and people say like it's just Zebo like making the game all about him, but like he wants his scout when he's playing pocket or something. He wants his scout to do this as well. I remember in Awesomniac, like really early on, we had a lot of kind of discussions about like what Zebo wanted from the aggro scout and all this kind of like miscommunications and stuff. And like he really does, like this is truly what he thinks like the aggro scout should be doing. So I think it's not all about Zebasai, it's just more about his idea of the game and how he thinks it should be played. And it just so happens that he's in that role now, so he's playing it exactly the way he always thought it should be played.
How do you feel, Sam, then playing against BK and Zebasai? Like, what's the Ubersexuals approach?
To be honest, like we played them yesterday, and it really didn't feel like Cebu went for any plays. To be honest, like they usually just sack both soldiers in now and let the scouts clean up. So, in my eyes, this discussion is kind of redundant because, in my opinion, at least, he really turned around his game plan completely. But maybe that's just
Sam,
me.
You ruined the surprise for Sunday now.
And Bull, what's how do LBC deal with Zebasai or react to that sort of skewed playstyle?
I don't think we have a way to counter Zebo. So like I said yesterday in the interview, we don't we take every team the same. We just kill it most of the time. That's about it.
Yeah, it's strange because like you'll see it on Sunday. Like there's going to be a little pre-show before each game, looking at Gentleman John's sort of aggregate stats for the season, and there's like this graph that shows like what each player contributes to the team in terms of kills and stuff. And compared to like other scouts, what Zebasai contributes to his team is like this massive, you know, spike out on the graph, and it's interesting. Just that's why I keep, you know, banging on about it. But it's going to be even more interesting to see what actually happens on the night, because everybody has their preconceptions, spectators, the players themselves. I'm really looking forward to watching that one. I want to ask as well, the season standings then. You know, we haven't done a show in a long time, but just opening up the tables here real quick. eShock were obviously the team that had the most dramatic season, coming in from not even qualifying to getting in when GG Will Play folded, coming up there. You got Planet Express, and then you got 425 and Cool Clan, who didn't really deliver much of anything. But how do you guys feel about eShock and Planet Express? You know, the sort of young bucks there coming into the league, maybe not given a lot of credit initially. Well, Planet Express, I suppose, did have a bit of hype, but they sort of petered out in the face of eShock in the end. But, you know, what are your thoughts on those two teams?
Well, I can maybe talk about eShock since they're French. Like, I know most of the players. I played with Deegan in Pyrogen like so long ago, I think 6 seasons ago, I can't remember. Well, they all have really good potentials. I think they showed it like by the end of the season. I think what they're lacking is a strong main calling. Because they have the individual skills, but they don't have a plan on what to do most of the time. I think if they could like get their hand on a strong main caller who can micromanage them and tell them what to do, they could be a really good team. Because I was quite impressed by how they play by the end, bar the Viaduct game against Ubersexual, which was a joke. But they played really, like, they impressed me this season.
How do you guys feel about sort of standard of the season overall? One thing that sort of stuck out to me was that there was a lot of new players in the Prem. Often the Prem's maligned a bit, you know, for being a circle jerk or whatever, but you had like a lot of players in Planet Express that hadn't played much at all in the Prem. Two Polish soldiers that came from Div 2. You've got eShock at Div 1, Div 2 level as well. Is this promising for the future of TF2? Was it a competitive season at all? What were your thoughts? Anyone, please, you know, jump in. Don't make me ask you directly.
Did you
Well,
watch
the
games?
points on the tables are fairly close in the middle. Like you go from like 12 to 19, and it's really close games between those teams. So I guess there was a lot of competition. And also in the top 3, like the games itself were also really close. Like the maps, I don't think there was a single role or anything in it. So I guess you can definitely say it was a highly competitive season.
I know it's hard to like compare one season to another, but like Epsilon, has it been a positive force for competition in Europe, or has everyone gotten worse? Is that what the grouches would say, the trolls under the bridge?
I think the standard is lower, but it's closer, and it was always going to be lower. Like the instant, like after I-52, when the major teams competing for the land folded, it was always going to drop a bit. Like the season happened pretty soon after I-52, so the teams didn't have as much practice. But I think moving forward, like season 20 hype, etc., like Kaidus' new team and so on.
But like lower
Things will
in
go
what way?
back
Is
to
it
where
like
they are.
Mike isn't playing in the league? Obviously, everyone's terrible if they're not Mike. Is it as simple as that, or is it?
I
Like,
just the
I
teams
hear...
just aren't like these teams at the top aren't really that old. Like in terms of like the lineup they had in the season aren't that old. Ubersexuals are new. LBC haven't played for, was it 1 season, 2 seasons or something? And then like Shock and Planet Express are both like lower tier teams moved up. And then the rest is, I think, new teams other than Hildrift's team, but they folded anyway, so.
So you're saying it's like that sort of intangible chemistry. That's the difference.
Yeah,
Or
like things don't feel quite as, I don't know,
the
structured.
teams need to
I
mature
guess.
together.
Yeah, like
It's like,
well,
you
it's
know,
not a good what, but you know.
these interviews have highlighted, at least that the teams think this way. It's like BK say we have no strategies. We just sort of
It's bullshit, though.
ball it. And LBC are saying, you know, they don't really have a plan. They've always said that, though. The Frenchies have always said, we don't have real tactics, whatever. We just sort of
Like,
go in and try and
every
kill
team,
things.
almost every team I've ever heard says they don't have tactics, but it's all complete fucking bullshit. Like, it's just nonsense. Like, you watch BK stream and they're like, do the non-Uber push. I'm not gonna go into what that is, but like, these are clear fucking names. Like, I play with these guys, I see what they're doing, and I see like strats that are very similar to what we did in Osomniac, and it's just bullshit to say they don't have strats. Like, just because they don't have like code names for like mid pushes and shit like this. I don't know what fucking strats. I don't know what this like trying to play it cool shit is all about. Like, everyone has strats. It's nonsense. Even if they come about organically, they're still strats. You just didn't like come up with them in a specific way. It's nonsense to say no one has strats though.
It's not really strats. I mean, like when I call strats, when you look, for example, Ubersexual, they have like a really strong main color. Like Ips kind of micromanage everyone. So they have strats that they know what to do. Each players know where to position themselves. But for example, when we play, I'm the one main calling, but the only thing I say is push or fall back. I mean, there's no like real plan going into each fight or each middle. That's about it.
I would be willing to like, I'd be willing to kind of budge on my view here for your team a little bit, mainly because I don't know anything about how you play. Because whenever I watch the stream, obviously I understand 1 in 15 words if I'm lucky. But like, I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm picking on these teams now, but this is kind of a thing that I've always seen over the years. Like, teams are so kind of, I don't know, almost desperate to play it cool in a way and say they don't have strats because there's like, oh, if we say we have strats, yeah, we're trying too hard and all this shit. But it's like, even if like you play a PCW and you play shit and you're like, oh guys, we fucked up every last push. What are we gonna do about that next time? And someone says, okay, Scout, you should have gone for the point at this moment, but instead you did this. Next time that Scout's going to go for the point, and that Scout is going to go for the point in accordance with the way you push in, and that's a strat. Like, you know, we might not give it a name, and you might not call it a strat, but that's a strat. It's coming about organically, but strat's a fucking strat, man. It's a strat.
It's all about killing people. That's how you win the game.
Yeah.
Well, I think like what our team is saying about we don't have strats is that like we are really reactive like all the time. Like we don't only have like 1 or 2 pushes that we have like standards that we do. Like then we just make stuff up all the time.
Yeah,
like
but that's like TF2. Like if you have like really set in stone mid strats, like it only takes one small thing. Like if you have a really specific mid strat to do something on mid, but then say it's Badlands and suddenly they're going your shit house and you've called do Operation Zen or some shit, and then they're all going shit house. Like what do you do then? Like it's much better to be reactive for some of these mids, but like I don't know, last pushes with Uber advantage. These are like completely. Like these situations are the same every time, like they were pyro top left or whatever. Like you can see this stuff and plan it and then do what you do. I don't know. I think it's strats.
Yeah.
Part of it as well is it's like Ips sort of really prides himself on how much like he's talking about how he's watched the fucking classic mix-up demos and stuff, and this is a classic mix-up strat we're gonna run today whenever he was camping on Spire or whatever. And everyone else doesn't seem to take that same enthusiasm towards the strategic side of the game, or at least I don't know. Do you guys watch demos? Do you watch your own STV demos, LBC or BK? Do you sit down and discuss what's happened, or is it just literally when the round ends we say, oh, that was bad, this was good?
We tried to watch demo once, but we figured out that it was fucking useless. We just need to play. I think as long as you hit your shots, you're gonna win games. That's about it. I don't believe in all those fancy. Of course, you need some strat on mid, but most of the time, if you hit your shots, you're gonna win the game. I don't believe in all those fancy strats and watching demo.
What happened when you guys played fucking Planet X on Granary and looked like fucking dribblers?
Yeah, because
they all stood on the crate together.
Because we only know to play one-dimensional. We can only play aggressive, and they wait for our aggression, and we didn't have we didn't know how to do. So we just kept on jumping into them until one could.
Oh, yeah, T-Mac hit shots. So I was afraid he was fucking dead in half a second. Like sometimes I don't know, man. There's more to the game than that, and it seems like
T-Mac is an idiot.
It's just like as Kaidus says, you guys are saying it and not really understanding or not really giving yourself the credit. but like Ubersexuals seem like that team that's that little bit more professional. They take the game that a little bit more seriously, or at least they put a bit more thought into it than everyone else. And even like in the interview, they're sort of trolling a little bit, saying that you guys are all garbage, or whatever. But there's probably some fucking credence to that. Like, if you don't take that sort of next approach, that next level approach, like, what can you do against Ubersexuals? Maybe you do have a great day and you hit all your shots and you win, but does that mean you're the better team?
Yeah.
What does it mean for Europe? Like, we're building towards a fucking LAN, hopefully next summer, where we'll have another chance to avenge the, what is it now, 2-1 North America? You say you're not going to play next season anyway, Bull. Forget it. I'm talking to the wrong people here.
Exactly.
Kaidus, you're going to be there, right? You're going to
Where am I
take on
going?
North America. You're going to kill
Probably
North
not.
America. Damn it.
I don't think I could play at LAN again. We'll see in next summer. It's too far away to know.
Oh, on that subject, actually, you know, whilst I remember, let's talk about the Kaidus recruitment post here. What was
Oh,
that
yeah?
all about? Mirland's fucking essay.
To tell you the truth, I don't really know why it came about when it did, because Mule and I haven't really had a conversation of substance since LAN, but clearly harbored a lot of resentment toward me. It's true. Like, I'm sure that, like anyone, I have faults. I whined sometimes in game last season. Like, I was leading a team that by all accounts was a pretty weird mishmash of personality and ego in parts. Like, for most of the season, I was kind of like mediating between Zebasai and Miralin, having their arguments and stuff. And yeah, like, I have a wrist injury. It hurts a lot to play at times, so I would mention that. I would apologize for being shit because I'm in pain. That's something that just happened. But I think mostly, if I had to put a finger on it, there was, okay, I'll tell you this story. There was one instance last season where, not last season, well, yeah, last season, but it's so long ago, where I had a very long conversation with Miralin, centered around me threatening that we were going to cut him. And this wasn't just me, this was like the whole team, but it's just a typical example of a situation where I had to speak to him about something the whole team had a problem with. But it's just like, I'm the only one willing to actually confront this like guy about it. So I don't know, I feel like I'm just kind of getting all of the blame, basically, for something that was just like team drama. Like, it's just standard team drama. I don't know, some guy's taking it to heart way too much and doesn't have like the emotional maturity to kind of process it in context.
Do you think it was in good spirits? So, like, I read
No, dude, that guy hates me.
somebody was like, you know, this is a sort of commentary you could only hear from a real friend.
Well,
are you and Miralin enemies now, or what?
We're not enemies. Like, I don't dislike the guy. I think he might dislike me now, but like, it wasn't like, people ask me if it was a joke, and it's like, it's not a joke. He's deadly serious in what he says, but I don't know, it's kind of a joke if you read it.
I can confirm that Miralin hates Kaidus and CommanderX.
Yeah,
really?
I mean, like, Miralin's the one
Even
coming out
Zebo.
of this with all kinds of problems with like half the fucking team. Me and Zebo were obviously the most like talkative and kind of, you know, we were, you know, in terms of like leadership roles in the team, like, I made the team so I was the leader, but then when we got Zebasai in, obviously he's Zebasai, so you give him quite a lot of sway. And me and Zebo are cool, we're tight, like, we're as good friends as we ever were, and Zebo tells me it straight, like, like, he spoke to me about this post, and he was like, well, yeah, somebody says it's true, and I'm like, yeah, I know that, but like, what's the big fucking deal? Everyone does this at times, everyone like gets mad in game. I'm not the first person to rage and do all this kind of shit. So, I don't know, Miralin's the guy who has all these problems now. Me and
Was he
Zebo
gonna
are still
like
cool.
this in FB?
When I
Like-
left FB, he hated me as well. He
Oh,
hated
really?
me for like 2 years because I abandoned them, even though we were a roster with only 4 players, 2 of who wanted to quit already. So, like, I don't know. Every time I leave a team with Miralin, he gets a bee in his bonnet about me. Maybe we'll be in a team in 2 years, playing at I-62 or some shit.
Well, if Raymond's not joining, maybe Merlin will want to jump ship.
Yeah, like, I can't really remember what he said, but like I say, half of it's probably true, but it's like, what's the big deal? Like, I rage, I whine at times, so do like a lot of fucking people, you know?
To your team, Kaidus, if Raymond actually decides on joining T's team, who would he get in instead of him?
I don't know, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest, because it was like, I made this team, like, I was thinking about making a team, kind of had it in the back of my mind, and then Raymond messaged me and suggested I make a team. So, I don't know if he was messing around or not, but either way, I was like, okay then. So, I've never even really thought about other medics, because the very, like, idea of this team kind of was provoked by a conversation I had with Raymond, so... Don't ditch me, Raymond. I ain't that bad, I promise.
You
So,
ain't OT.
Have you taken anything then from the article, like you're saying? You think maybe, or the post?
Fucking article.
Yeah, what it was. Open letter there, but like, you know,
it was
have you
longer than
had
most
any moments to
email
reflect?
articles.
Are you going to take a fresh approach
Not really,
whenever
'cause it's
you're in
like-
your new team, or?
It's like I knew all this stuff. Like I know that I whined too much last season. Like I don't need to be really told that. Like it's something I'm completely aware of. And I don't know. Like I took a break from TF2 this season. Like and now I'm just kind of like happy that I can actually play the game because last season I kind of thought I wouldn't play again, and not because I didn't want to, but just because I wouldn't be able to. So I don't know. I guess I'm just happy to be able to play now. So I'll probably be less whiny. But I don't know. That team was like it was an emotional team. To be fair, like there was a lot of personalities in it, and I was just the guy who happened to have to try and bring them all together and keep shit kind of together. And I probably wasn't the best person to do that, in all honesty, but apparently I was the only one willing, so that's the price you pay.
Was it sort of that you three guys, like the big personalities, Kaidus, Zebo, and Merlin, had a different view on the game, like how to play, or
Like,
was
kind of. I mean, okay.
dig
like-
up the dirt, man?
Okay, so we'll go back to like at the very start of that team. It was me and I don't even remember me, Stark, Flip, maybe Miralin. Like Zebo and Knutson were the last guys to join because they were doing data stuff at the time. So we got Zebo in, and Zebo joined on the condition that he main called, and we play like Zebo TF2 basically. And that was kind of fine for me because it worked for Broda. Like it didn't suit my playstyle, but cool, we'll do it. Best roster we're gonna get. So that was what we did. And then after like 2 weeks of Merlin kind of being on Zebo's dick 24/7, like, oh, you didn't this way in Broda, oh, Nox did it like this, and all this shit. Zebo's like, right, okay, I'm not calling anymore, you fucking do it. And so Merlin called, and then Merlin didn't want it anymore, or someone didn't want Merlin anymore. So like, I don't know, they both wanted the, I don't even remember, but they were just like, this went on for most of the fucking season. By LAN, I was pretty much calling. So like, I don't know. That's what I mean, like, I was just like, the guy caught in the middle. Like, I feel like anyway, I was the guy caught in the middle, but it was my team, so I kind of had to try and do something about it. But like, what can you do when you got these guys? Like, I love Zebo, but he's quite a stubborn guy. So when he gets like an idea in his head about what he wants to do or how he wants to play or what he doesn't want to do, he's going to stick to it. And Merlin's kind of the same. Like Merlin did budge, like, and kind of, you know, compromise in a way, but the kind of the drama you had to go through to get to it was unreal. And that's pretty much the story. Like I said, I can't really remember what was in the post. I only really skim read it because it was kind of like, what the fuck. But yeah.
How does that affected your sort of new team that you've put together? Did you set about to, you know, make a more harmonious environment? Are you looking for players that are going to listen to what you have to rather than?
Well, when I made that team, when I made Osomniac originally, the plan was that I would probably call, and it'd probably be like, you know, Kaidus TF2 or whatever, the way I wanted to play. But like I said, that will change like when I got Zebo side because it was just so far the obvious choice. But for this team, don't know. All the people I picked up were just the obvious choices. I think like literally anyone could have come along. Like Zub is the standout. Like I don't know how the fuck Zub hasn't been in a top team before because he's probably with Rising. I think he's the best like soldier in Prem at the moment, and at least like who can play Roam. And Captain, like obviously, like everyone knows Captain. He's like, you know, the next sick DM beast. Like Walters, kind of. I gave Walters some shit in the past, but he had a really incredible season. And playing with him this last week, like, yeah, like anyone could have picked up these guys. They all happen to be really calm people as well. Apart from Raymond, who's hopefully going to join us and who gets a little giddy at times, but yeah, like anyone could have picked this team up. I just took the obvious people.
All right. I've exhausted that avenue of inquiry. I'm very satisfied with your answers. I know we've been on air for about an hour, so I'm considering, you know, how to move towards the exit slowly but surely. Got to go for the easy option here, you know, guys. Who's gonna win on Sunday? I want your 1, 2, 3. How's it gonna finish? Let's. I'm not gonna ask the players. Obviously, they're gonna just fucking lie through their teeth and say BK are gonna win or some shit. Fuck off. CommanderX, how's it gonna finish on Sunday?
I'd like it. I think BK are going to finish third no matter what. I'd like LBC to win, but I don't think they will. So, pretty confident Ubersexuals will win.
I'm rooting for a BK upset in the first game, that they're going to pull the wool over LBC's eyes and then eventually lose to Ubersexuals. probably in a very anticlimactic final. But, you know, Kaidus has been there. He's been in the thick of it this week playing against these teams. I'm curious as to what his current thoughts are.
I've only played each team once, apart from BK. That I've played a little bit more than that. Main call claim, and I believe them 100% that they had a really shit day when they played us. I mean, it was fucking obvious from the way they played. Like, they were awful. So I don't really know what to make of main call. I didn't really get a good impression. I don't know. Like I said the other day, I kind of got laughed at, but I think it's going to be really close. Like, I don't think any of these games in the regular season went 6-0, and like they're trading games. Like, we played all of them. Like, we won one map and lost one map against every team we played, like in the playoffs. So, fuck if I know, man. It's going to be close though.
smzi, then, you know, summarize your thoughts. Who's going to win that first game?
I think BK will win it, but it's gonna be incredibly close, and it's gonna be 3 maps.
Bulle, then, you know, what are you feeling for the finals?
I think we will win
Both games or just the first one?
both games.
3 maps, 2 maps, default win.
3 maps on both games.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I can't ask these guys who are actually playing in the first round. They're always just going to say we're going to win. Oh, hey, RP, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday? Cocksucker?
Well, I think it will be an easy win. We'll have to break Poole's heart. And, you know, we'll have to make it go to third map just for the audience. But in reality, it will just be us throwing and off-classing on second map.
I asked Sam earlier, like, did he know what maps they were going to pick? Do you guys have any idea what maps you want to play? Like, is there one map you think is your home map and you're going to pick against both teams? Well, obviously it's elimination too, but...
Logjam is our home map, so
Logjam.
expect Logjam.
Yeah. That's popular.
Yeah. Gonna bend that.
There's a bit of a mind game going on there, though. Like, most people probably aren't interested to play Logjam, but why would you ban it first if it's the obvious choice that nobody wants to play? You could just leave it in there and go for something else. Think about that, yeah.
We might have been practicing it in secret with our alt accounts. You never know.
Then I want to ask, I guess, to close things out, do you believe the ETFTL Season 20 hype, is there actually going to be anything different from this season apart from, you know, maybe a slightly bigger, marginally bigger prize pool where it might mean that each player gets like an extra €10 or something?
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Some random shit unlocks will be allowed, and no one will use any of them.
I think it's going to be incredible. Crowdfunding, there's going to be a fucking 20k prize pot. Valve are going to come out with their matchmaking. It's going to be incredible. Everyone's going to play the Valve mode. Well, maybe not next season. Depends how soon they release it. But, you know, a bright future for TF2. I'm not going to play, you know, so it'll be incredible. I'll cast.
Even if there's not, like, some incredible thing going on for Prem, I think if this, like, the new system they were talking about implementing, if that happens...
Oh, yeah? The
like,
Swiss
I think
tournament?
that just makes the lower divisions, well, like, all divisions apart from Prem, it just makes them all 10 times more interesting. Because, like, I don't know. I won't go off on another rant about this because I've ranted about, like, ESCA being superior in their system for years, but I think
what do you
moving
think
closer
about
to
the
that...
reaction? Like, I was... It seems like obviously a logically better system, but I was surprised by how many people came out and said, you know, we're against this.
I don't know what there's really to be against.
Is it just the fear of change? Like, people don't want to try a new system or they don't see the point in trying it?
Yeah, people just have the view that, like, ETF2L has been, for, like, you know, a community-run league, it's been pretty successful for years, so, like, why change it? But, I mean, I don't know, like, from a perspective of someone who's only played in Prem, pretty much, for 3 years or something, like, the lower divisions just get worse and worse and worse. Like, I mean, obviously, I stopped knowing players in Division 1 as well as I used to because, obviously, you don't play with them as often, but, I don't know, just looking at, like say ESCA Intermediate, just the way that anyone can compete for, like, the highest prestige outside of being an invite, it just makes it 10 times more interesting. Like, if you look, like, all these arguments about, like, should this team be in Div 1 or should they be in Div 2, like, they should all be in a division together because the differences are so marginal. And, like, one new player added to your roster can make a huge fucking difference. So, like, I don't know. In IM, I remember playing a season of IM years ago when I was, like, a keener gamer than I am now. Like there were teams that were just kind of scrunting around like 25th position in IM, but then they'd end up in a playoff spot just because they made some roster changes mid-season. But if that was ETF to World, those roster changes couldn't happen mid-season because these players wouldn't join a bottom Div 2 team. Because that's what it's the equivalent of. It's the equivalent of bottom Div 2 teams suddenly being in Division 1 playoffs by the end. And like that's what can happen in this system. Like, I don't know, it just seems tons better to me. Tons.
It's strange. It's like, I suppose it's the elitist Premiership attitude, but people who are in the thick of it, you know, like from Div 6 to Div 3, they feel like, you know, there's a real gradient there between the divisions. It's like, oh, you couldn't play against them possibly, but whenever you're sort of up above that, it seems like a big grey blob, but that's hard to get across. Do we have a valid say in it? Like, if you're in the Prem and it's not going to affect you at all, should you be allowed to dictate or, you know, try and force this system upon people? It's weird as well. Like, I don't know what my thoughts entirely are. Like, it's like people have heard it mentioned as the ESEA system, and just because it's like the way the Americans play, they're automatically against it, even though it's like, it's not that the Swiss system or the ESEA is the Swiss system. It's like the ESEA used the Swiss system. It's sort of bizarre, but some fucking
it's not even exactly the
change
same.
needs to go in there.
There's quite a lot of differences. Like, the only real like kind of almost exact similarity is just the way that you have the larger divisions, and whether it's just being in Prem, I don't see the difference between Div 3 and Div 2. Well, there is a difference somewhere. Like, you see these like skill gaps in Division 1 all the time, where like the top 2 or 3 teams are just above the rest and things like this. But the bottom of Div 1 could easily compete. Like, the top of Div 2 can easily compete with the bottom of Div 1, and I don't see why. Like, why should you have to wait 4 months to compete with those guys? Just because, like, with some linear 8-team system that was composed 4 years ago for a scene that's entirely different than it is now. That just seems dumb, regardless of like whether my insight is biased or not.
Me and Stark played in Div 2 this season, and we finished like I think third from bottom in Div 2. But we definitely PTW'd against Div 3 teams, and the results, like, I don't know. Like, at the end of every match, I'd have to ask if, like, what division these guys were, but that was nothing like playing against them. It didn't feel any different whether we PTW'd against Div 3 or Div 2. I don't know if it's the same between like Div 2 and Div 1 or whatever, but it didn't feel any different. It just varied, depend on the team.
Yeah, I don't know, it's interesting to see if ETF2 will actually make, you know, a big dramatic shift like that. Permzilla seems well up for it, and I'm impressed by that. But, you know, ETFTL's past record has been resistant to change at times. I don't know, maybe I'm just jaded too.
I think they were always kind of down on manpower, and the fact that Permzilla's like obviously taking such an interest in this suggests they maybe have the, you know, the actual ability to implement a new system now. That was always something that held them back a lot. I'm not sure if they were actually entirely resistant to change, you know, or if they just physically didn't have the people to implement these changes. So it wasn't even worth discussing.
Ever since they lost Sideshow as an admin, you know, it's downhill, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we could wrap up seedings, and I'll give you all a chance to shout out some love to the internet. Nobody has sponsors anymore, so, you know, tell someone of them. Look into the camera.
Shout out to Redshock and my team.
Shout out to Sebosma and AMS.
Shout out to Dignitas and Bulle.
Shout out to my team and to Timo.
What? Not me?
No, fuck you, P. No one likes you.
I'll shout out Sideshow, you know, for sleeping in.
He's gone to snooze now. It's over. 1 hour nap, my ass.
And of course, all the TFTV staff who made the season pretty memorable. One last chance then, you know, shout outs. Shout out to Blackout John. He's returned to on the camera here after a long few months of technical problems. Any final thoughts before we just, you know, pull the plug on this?
Shout out to Captain Zoob, Happy Cool, and Walters for joining a team with the most intolerable gamer in Prem. No one else would do it.
You gotta shout out to Raymond, man. You gotta see.
Shout out to Raymond for
Considering
maybe baiting me into a team and then ditching me. But maybe not, who knows?
Alright, so one more time then. The playoffs are happening this Sunday, starting at 18:45 CET, a 15-minute looking at the stats, etc., building up the hype. Then the game gets underway at 19 CET. Check out the article on teamfortress.tv for all the information. There's going to be giveaways, TT Sports hardware, maybe some in-game items and stuff as well, if I can, wrangle with Veethoofd on that one. It's going to be a great event, probably the best playoffs ever, since it's not all spread out over 3 weeks. It'll be different, but it'll be good. Tune in then. But until then, keep your eyes on teamfortress.tv. There's going to be that interview with Bulle coming out sometime tomorrow on our YouTube channel as well. That's youtube.com/teamfortress.tv. Excited you will wake up in the middle of the night and get that one done. Another 6 hours session. But yeah, that's been it. I've been Admirable. We've had CommanderX, Kaidus, Sam, Bulle, Hair P, and John on the camera. No sideshow, no war. Rest in peace. But thank you for tuning in, guys. And make sure and show up on Sunday. It's going to be sick.